State of Michigan. The Republicans have found out that the Democrats in the state of Michigan, they've got a whole scheme going with fake jobs and surgeries for transgendered people and on and on and on, that totals up to something like what, 4 or 5 billion with a B in the state of Michigan. Money that they have been stealing and funneling back to the Democrats.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Warriors, we've got another Democrat scandal involving the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Yes, another demon rat caught in a scandal. That's what I'll be talking about today on Chat with me, Linda B. All right, Warriors, you know what to do. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up. It really helps my videos go out farther into YouTube. Comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Select all notifications. Stick around to the end. Let's go. I came across this very recently, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Gretchen Whitmer, you know, the one that supposedly was kidnapped? And there's a lot of mess surrounding this woman. Just let me tell you. It seems like every year there's some sort of scandal. I'm going to say allegedly for everything in the video, but no, the latest thing comes up to that. There are like about 4,300 jobs, phantom jobs in the state of Michigan, jobs that were just like non-existent. And it involves $5 billion with a B. You heard that lady there. Democrats will come up with any kind of a reason to get money to come their way, whether it's for different types of surgeries for people who cannot identify with the body that they were born in, or climate change, whatever it is, they request a lot of money. And supposedly this money goes to those particular items. That's where that USAID money came in, that the demon rats were fussing and boohooing and whining over all out in the streets. But it actually doesn't go to any of those. It actually goes allegedly into their pockets. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of clips, and this is going to blow your mind.
One of the biggest frauds we've uncovered in Michigan.
We've identified $5 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse in the state budget.
A lot of people are very, very concerned. Oh my gosh, to have a budget that's under $80 billion, you must have had to gut a lot. Nope, we didn't have to gut. We just had to cut 4,277 phantom jobs.
You guys realize what a scandal this is? People should be prosecuted for taking money that was appropriated to hire employees and using that money for another purpose entirely.
Gender reassignment surgeries for prisoners. There are programs in there that don't even exist, and they're funding them. Like the Star Base, I mean, that was eliminated a few years ago, and they still fund it. We get rid of the arts and culture grants. They're real waste. I mean, you look at what they are: glass blowing, barbershop quartets, all kinds of things, really. It's incredible the things they got away with calling it arts and culture grants. See, that's why Winnie Brinks doesn't want to get in the room with me, because I know the budget in and out. I don't know it as well as Ann. So they know if Ann and I get in the room with Sarah Anthony and Winnie Brinks, we're going to get a great deal because we know the budget better than them.
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine? 4,300 jobs, about 4,300 jobs, $5 billion of taxpayer money for things that did not exist. These different kinds of surgeries, gender reassignment, climate change, just these arts and crafts and just different things. Okay, just different things that were not really real. The jobs weren't really real, and the money went into the pockets of Democrats. This is like an ongoing thing. So this is not just at the federal level, it's at the state and looking like even at the local level. I've done a lot of videos on other politicians, even at the local level. We're talking about Brandon Johnson, allegedly, Tiffany Henyard, and others. I mean, these are people, they're all Democrats. There is something inherently wrong with that party. In my opinion, just an opinion. They have a history of violence. We already know that. I mean, you can just pretty much tell that they have an agenda and a way of doing things. I mean, use the media for psychological warfare, protest the more, money laundering. And if that doesn't work, go after your political opponents using the judicial system, and then worse, try to take their lives, allegedly. All of this is allegedly. And then repeat. Keep repeating. It's like wash, rinse, repeat with these people. And now Governor Gretchen Whitmer. You know, there's something else about her that came up as well with that whole like kidnapping thing. You guys remember that? I'm going to let you hear a little bit of it with The Hill.
What's on your radar?
Well, remember the right-wing militia members who allegedly plotted to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer because of her COVID-19 lockdown policies? Well, they will go to trial in just a few weeks. 6 of them were charged in connection with the plot, and one of them has already pleaded guilty and is expected to testify against the rest. State authorities charged 8 others with aiding a terrorist plot. The government's case against these 14 alleged extremists relies on work done by at least a dozen government informants and undercover FBI agents whose extensive involvement in the plot calls into question whether it would have moved forward at all without the government's prodding. Some of these government actors took lead roles in organizing the supposed plot. One of the informants was even paid $54,000 by the FBI. Taken together, these and other details raise the strong possibility that the militia members were victims of entrapment on the part of the FBI. Indeed, the revelations have prompted considerable welcome scrutiny of the case from the mainstream media. The FBI investigation into the alleged plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has gotten very complicated, conceded BuzzFeed News in a terrific in-depth examination of the available evidence that was published last month. And earlier this week, the New York Times acknowledged that the involvement of informants and agents had, quote, muddled the case. The Times reports, quote, on a rainy night in northern Michigan in September 2020, a group of armed men divided among 3 cars surveyed the landscape around the vacation cottage of the governor, considering how to kidnap her as payback for her COVID lockdown measures. Of the dozen men on that nighttime surveillance mission, 4 of them, including Big Dan, were either government informants or undercover FBI agents, according to court documents. Big Dan was no passive spectator. After initially alerting the authorities that he was involved in a Facebook group for militia members in which violence against police officers had been discussed, he agreed to become an informant. The government paid him $54,000 for 6 months of work, and when the militia group surveilled Whitmer's vacation home, it was Big Dan leading the charge. According to the group's defense attorneys, Big Dan, an Iraq War veteran, took charge of training the other men in military tactics.
Can you believe this? This woman is seemingly corrupt. This heifer. Okay. This reminds me of what happened at the Capitol building with the FBI, okay? Because it later came out that supposedly, allegedly 274 agents were dispersed throughout the crowd. This just reminds me of that. So when we see things on the mainstream news, we just need to do a little bit more work, because a lot of this stuff is coming back to bite the Democrats in their behinds. Okay, you get money laundering after money laundering. Can the Democrat Party exist without money laundering? Can the Democrat Party exist without supposedly illegals? Can the Democrat Party exist without, I don't know, a lot of things? Money laundering, like I said, and, a lot of the violence and paying protesters, allegedly. Can this party exist? Now we have phantom jobs in the state of Michigan. And again, it is around the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Supposedly a fake kidnapping. Right-wing extremists did this. Right-wing extremists. They blame the right-wingers or the people on the right for the very things that they do. They themselves are the ones that are the fascists. They are violent, they are emotional, and they are psychologically messed up in the head. That's really what they are. So the Democrats allegedly love to money launder. They make up programs, and then it'll be some silly sounding program like, who would want to give money to this anyway? These different surgeries and climate change, and you make up these jobs only to have that money end up in your pockets. Even when they have things for other countries like, we're just going to do these surgeries for prisoners in Guatemala or drag queen concerts overseas. And they get this money and they do it overseas because, no oversight, right? The whole point is no oversight. While I really get this money for myself, it is a shame that they would take that much money from taxpayers. People don't want that. President Trump won the state of Michigan, okay, handily. And you want to tell me that these people are okay with you using their taxpayer money, their hard earned money for this foolishness? I don't think the Democrat Party is going to, but I'm going to refrain from saying what I was about to say. But everything is just coming like the chickens have come home to roost. Okay, even with that whole debacle in Virginia with Jay Jones, who's running for attorney general, some tweet, well, not tweet, but text message from 2022 comes up, and he mistakenly sent that to a Republican lawmaker. That was Almighty God coming back to say, you know what, you will not be attorney general, because since then, Winsome Sears has soared in the polls, and it is within the margin of error. So we will be praying about this, warriors. Tell me what you think about this whole debacle. It appears to be real. You saw the press conference. They have come forth with this evidence of fraud. Another Democrat scam. You guys, let me know what you think about this video. If you enjoyed this content, like it, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.